Hello everybody, this is Roger with Roger's Reviews in 584 Tree Life. Today we're going to be talking about EVs versus ICE cars. I grew up driving ICE cars. I started driving when I was like 16, but I've had a lot of motorcycles and scooters and go-karts and you name it. Friends had a lot of that stuff growing up. I mean, I started driving my mom's car. She let me. We lived kind of like on the outskirts where there was like a lot of dirt roads and stuff like that. So I actually started driving probably like way before 16, like 14 or 15. Also, too, my father had a bunch of motorcycles, and I'd always sneak them out, and that's how I learned how to drive a clutch and a stick shift was on an old Husqvarna 1970 dirt bike, hair scramble bike, a motocross bike, which motocross bikes back then weren't motocross bikes. They had no suspension. About broke my ankle when you jump them. But anyway, getting back to the EVs versus electric cars. I just bought my first EV, actually electric car. It's going on almost 4 years ago, and I did some research, and I've always liked electric vehicles. I've had electric scooters and electric skateboards, and all kinds of electric stuff, and of course, RC cars. And I always wondered, even when I was little, like when I was like before I was just a teenager, I always would play with RC cars and electric toys and stuff like that. And I was always wondering, like, why couldn't they scale that up and just use basically a bigger platform and make cars that people could drive? Because I was, even back then, before electric cars were really a mainstream, it just made sense to me. And I was just a teenager, or before I was even a teenager. It was like these electric toys, man, they're like awesome. Like, there's no maintenance, they're very durable, they're cheap, they last a long time. And that's back when they had like NiCad. So when the lithium and lipos came out, I mean, it was just like a no-brainer, because most of the guys that were into you know eat or RC cars and stuff, gas was a thing. Everybody had to have a fuel car. But once lipos came out, it just changed everything, and everybody pretty much got rid of their gas stuff, or it was more like they'd use that on the side. But the main thing was the lipo batteries, and the RC cars on lipo. It just changed the whole world. So when that came out, of course, I think it made a lot of people aware that you could change the bigger vehicles and bigger toys, and then eventually cars. So now most of your cars, are the newer EVs, are lipo powered, because the EV1 was still lead acid. So that's why even then it got 100 miles to charge, so it was still good as a Nissan Leaf. So I think if you had an EV1 and you put lipos in it, or lithium batteries, I mean, can you imagine? It would probably be, probably go 200 or 300 miles, just like the cars of today. But the biggest thing for me was the maintenance, because I've had so many vehicles, and right now I've got over 10 vehicles, and I have a tree service, so they don't really have any EVs for what I do. So I'm kind of stuck with the maintenance and all the problems that gas-powered vehicles come with, and diesel-powered vehicles come with. I got a couple vehicles now that they just been sitting for a while, and I can't get them started because we didn't use them for a few months. So now we have to spend quite a bit of money trying to figure out what the problem is, because everything gums up. If you have 2,000 moving parts and those parts don't move for a while on an ICE car or diesel car or gas car or natural gas vehicle, there's problems. I mean, I've got a whole slew of gas powered chainsaws, weed eaters, blowers, you know, mini bikes, cars, trucks, vans. They just don't run anymore. I left them set too long. So you know, you have the expense of trying to get them to run again. It's like sometimes it's not even worth it. You just end up selling them for parts. The electric car I have, the Nissan Leaf, I've had it, like I said, for almost 4 years, and the only thing I've had to do with it, and it was used when I bought it, it had 40 or 50,000 miles on it. So, you know, a lot of cars that are pre-owned, like gas cars, like I just got another gas car, and it'd been sitting for a while, and we're having all kinds of problems trying to get it to run right, you know, and you know, we changed the oil, we changed the fuel filter, put fresh gas in it, just changed out the 12-volt battery, you know, degreased the engine. I mean, you know, changed the air filter. Now we're going to have to change the spark plugs, maybe spark plug wires. Probably have to take it to the mechanic, have him do a diagnostic on it, find out why it's not firing properly, why it's not idling correctly. You know, there's just tons and tons of stuff, and you know, if you're gonna flip the car or let someone use it, you have to make sure all these things are correct on it, because you don't want to sell a car, let someone use it, and then have it break down, and then you have to go, you know, tow the car somewhere. My EV, I've trusted it so much. The Nissan Leaf, I got one for my mom, because you know, what kind of vehicle do you want to get for a loved one, your daughter, or someone that you care about, that you know that is going to be the best, most reliable vehicle? You get them an electric car, because you know the worst possible thing they can do is not charge it. You don't have to worry about them not checking the oil, not checking the transmission fluid, not checking the radiator water or antifreeze. I mean, there's all kinds of maintenance things and issues, especially on an older ICE vehicle, that if they don't do these things, they don't check the oil. I've gave people cars before, they didn't check the oil, they blew the motor up. I put a brand new motor in a Toyota truck. Guys didn't check the water, blew the motor up. Had other vehicles, they didn't check the transmission fluid, blew the transmission out. So, I mean, it's just, when you give someone a vehicle, and especially like a loved one or a family member, or one of your guys that work for you, an employee, it's like in your head, you're always wondering, man, I hope they check the oil. I hope they check the transmission fluid. I hope they don't overheat it. With an electric vehicle, you don't have to worry about that. The worst thing they can do, like I said, is not charge it. And then it goes dead, then you just got to charge it up. So it just eliminates so many problems and hassles. There's over 2,000 moving parts in an ICE vehicle. In an electric car, there's like 10 or 15, you know, and if you figure the wheels are 4, you know, that eliminates 4, so there's really like 10 moving parts. So thank you for watching.